Where are you in this ranking? Are you level 4? Are you level 3? Are you level 2? Or are you level 1? According to your level, then, you'll be sent to that school where it equips with that level. Welcome back. We have been looking at career pathways, and we are looking at the career development, and we really looked at wide array and analyzing per visa and how you can place yourselves on different pathways. So today we like to continue from where we left last time, and we like to look at the scoring, because I know all of us now we have been able to analyze ourselves, and now we need to come up and decide, now, after I have known my attributes, how do I analyze myself to know where I belong? And therefore, that's the importance of this lesson. And today, we are going to talk about now scoring for self-discovery. Scoring for self-discovery. Now, when talk about, we have talked about per visa, and I just want to look at the foreign. We said that after we have the three pathways, the STEM, we have the social science, we have the arts and sports. Now, what you do here, because already we have spoken about all these attributes, I want you to draw such a line. All my learners, I guess you are listening. And then here we talked about the attributes. The attributes. And we said we have P, A. From our previous lesson, I know V. I guess you know what you're talking about. I, S, and A. Now, I'd like you to flip back to the other page that we had done all these, the attribute for STEM, the attributes for social sciences, the attributes for arts and sports. For instance, we say that the personality for people in STEM or learners in STEM, you know, their problem solving or their thinking is abstract, things like that. For this one, they are more logical, they are logical. This one are more geared to people, they're empathetic, yes. And this one, they are expressive. So look at the three, logical, empathetic, and expressive. Now we said, because I gave you about 5 traits of each, 5, 5, 5, 5, like that. So you expect this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should score about 30. Now, what you do, I want you to come here and see, calculate personality for STEM. How many do you have? Maybe we find here, maybe I have, there are 5, because all of them are 5, 5, 5. You say maybe here I scored 4 out of the 5 I gave you. Here maybe you scored all of them 5. Here maybe you scored 3. Here you scored 5 again. Maybe you scored 4. And you scored 4. Then you find here, you scored maybe 3. You scored 5. Maybe you scored maybe 2, probably 0, 1, 0. Then you find on the other end, then you scored maybe, we can still say you scored 3, you scored 2, you scored 0, 1, 0, 0. Because it will show some strength. So in this case, therefore, it gives you a total of, this is 9, 12, 17, 21, 25. That gives you 25. Here you have 8, 10, 11. This gives you 3, 5, 6, like that. Now, once you analyze that, I'll let you know. Once you analyze this, you can see this is the personalities. These are the abilities. These are the values. These are the interests. These are the skills. These are abilities. So these are attitudes. Sorry. So you find that for STEM you score high. So this is now telling you if I take the total was out of what you're supposed to get. So you take here, you score 25, you score 11, you score 6. So what's the total? 25 plus that plus that, you get the total. And therefore, you can see already that what you score highest is the STEM. It already shows you. And if you compare your personality, okay, this guy, the personality seems to be a well-balanced person because it's almost closer to that, almost closer to that. Then you find this is 25. So 25. Then for SS, you score 11. Then what is the other one? The AS, you score 6. So this is 36 plus 42. So you have 25 out of 42, out of 42, out of 42. Times 100, times 100, times 100. So this is what we just want to find out. Allow me to use my calculator here for easier calculation. So we have 25 of 42. We're talking of 59.5%. Then if you look for the second one, 11, 11 of 42, we're talking of 26.1%. And finally, talk of 6 of 42, you have 14, around 14.2%. Now, this is an indication that if you take STEM, if you are to do STEM, you see, you perform even double. This is double of social sciences and it's double of arts and sports. So therefore, this criteria, this scoring, it already guides you on which pathway should you take. And in this case, for this learner, I've just guessed the values. You, the learner there, you have already your attributes, you have all your attributes, and already you know that what you are scoring in every of them. So you can just count as I've done and then fill. So I want to take some other cases. This is just a case. Now, there are some of us, you're going to find that, allow me now to ignore. I can ignore this. Let me ignore the calculation, all this. Okay, let me lab them so that you don't make a mistake. Suppose I'll remove all of them now. And you want to put up another figure because this is a class of one person. It shows us one side. It is easier to decide like that, like this one. It's so easy to decide. But there are some of us you find here, when you're doing the total, you find maybe somebody here, you score 25. Here you score 24. And maybe here you score 23. Now, these are some of the guys we call all-out learners. You find that they have a lot. They have a lot, very close points. And therefore, it means that even if they were to take, yes, they would perform better in STEM, but they're not also not bad. It is very close to STEM. This is still very close to social sciences. And therefore, for such students, we also now go to method 2, that we decide to analyze this learner, or we can take it as psychometric assessment. So psychometric assessment, it is able to analyze this learner and tell us that this guy, is good in, STEM is good in this, is good in that. So I want all of us, all of you learners, now you know this. We have already done this. You can tabulate it and populate it with your tally all your attributes, write them here, and then calculate them. The same for social sciences, the same for social sciences. So there are some of us, you find that now, after you tally, you find maybe this one you may have 5 total, you may have 10, you may have 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, they're supposed to be 30. So it tells you that you are strong in arts. If you score high in social sciences, you are strong in social sciences and all that. So the other thing I want you to know is that you may find that maybe personality, you may score maybe 4, 4, 4. It means that you are a balanced person. You have a balanced personality. Values, you find that what you value here, maybe they can also be 5, 5, 5. See, some things. But a lot of time even interest can be almost the same. But you find other things like this and that may need a value. So which also determines where you fall for this. So it is therefore becomes so easy to decide and to determine your career pathway. So that is one way, your educational pathway. This is one way. So once you do this, at least now you know where you fall. And therefore, when you're coming to do your pathway, it will not be a big deal. Now, the other question that comes in now is on how then. We have already now known our pathway because I've shown you how to score yourself. We have done the self-discovery, we have discussed these, we have discussed all the attributes, we have discussed yourselves. Now you know very well who you are. Once you know who you are, I've already now come and shown you how to tabulate it. And once you tabulate it, how do we then know my pathway? So once you know your pathway, then the stage number 2, which is what I want to cover now, because I know very soon, the grade 9, you'll be required to start choosing your pathway. That one we have done. Then you do your track. We are doing that. And then you do your subject combination. Now, I'll start with subject combination because it is the one that can take us to tracks. Because subject combination, you can have like MP, MPC, MPG. This is how you'll be calling your subjects. You'll be calling them, I'm an MPC somebody. I'm an MPG. So meaning you are math, physics, chemistry. You are a maths, physics, geography. So those are the new terms that will start to come out now. The MPC, the MPG, the MPB, I'm a maths, physics, biology, or I'm a maths, chemistry, bio, I'm a MCB, things like that. So how do you determine your subject combination? Now, there are still attributes that you can look up to determine what do you become or which subjects can you perform better apart from your performance. Because I've conducted quite a number of trainings and I've seen learners, you're also affected by your relationship by your teacher. And maybe you score poorly in a particular lesson because in a particular subject or learning area because you don't love teacher so-and-so. Maybe teacher so-and-so doesn't look attractive, teacher so-and-so. And that affects you, by the way. And you find that by the end of the day that you not perform that subject very well because you don't like that teacher. But there is an inbuilt potential in you that can tell you that even if I don't like this teacher, I'm strong in mathematics. And it is able to tell you I'm getting 30% in mathematics and I'm strong in mathematics. So there are those, again, attributes that we can analyze to see where do you fit as a subject. Now, you know very well in senior school, the subject that you're going to be taking in senior school, you're supposed to have, remember mathematics is compulsory now. So we are going to have let me call it pure maths, pure mathematics. We are going to have either basic, foundational, whichever name they are going to be, it's going to be given, or general mathematics. We are going to have English, literature, and of course foreign languages, Kiswahili and fasihi ya Kiswahili and Kenyan Sign Language. So going to have biology, you're going to have physics, you're going to have chemistry. We'll also have the history. Okay, let me just finish the computer studies as applied, computer studies, agriculture. You're going to have home science. These are applied sciences, drawing. We're also going to have drawing and design. Drawing and design. Then we'll have the history. We'll have the geography, of course, history and government. We have the geography. We have religious education, which have the CRE, which has the ILE, which has the HLE, and the rest. Then we're also going to have the business. We're going to have the arts. In this case, we're talking about fine arts. We're going to have music, theater, and film. Then, of course, you're going to have sports, which carries a number of subjects there. So, and you can see that you have quite a huge selection to choose from. Now, I will not talk about tracks because already you know the tracks and you know the subject here. You know that maths, biology, physics, chemistry belong to pure science. You know very well that computer, agriculture, home science, drawing and design, they belong to applied sciences. What I've not added are also technicals, the aviations, the building, construction, the metalwork, and the rest. So there are quite a number of them. But these are the hands-on subjects that you are going to choose. Now, we have chosen our pathway. Now, we are going to do subject combination, which will determine our track that we are going to choose. And therefore, allow me to now start analyzing all these subjects one by one, and we see where you fit very well. Now, those people who are good in pure maths, what do they have? Pure mathematics. Who are they? So that you can know, do you have strength in that? So, and number one, we said, this one, they are logical, they have logical and analytical thinkers. Analytical thinkers. So look at those subjects. How do you perform in those subjects, like in those topics like statistics? Are you able to statistics? You know, the analyzing part, the mode, the median, and the rest. So are you able to analyze figures? Are you able to analyze numbers? And out of numbers, you can make a conclusion from the numbers. Because I know there are people that even if they have numbers together, and you ask them what is about the numbers, they cannot tell you. So, but if you have a mathematical skill, that's what you call a numerical skill, you are able to, you know, you are logical and analytical thinker because you're able to use numbers and make a conclusion with those numbers. They also enjoy problem solving. These are mathematicians. They enjoy problems. So you can have a problem and you hit it it brings you down, you don't give up, go back again until you find that you have solved that problem. So that resilience, that resilience to ensure that you have a solution is what you call the problem-solving skill. And therefore, people who are good in mathematics, they show a high level of problem-solving skill. They also have a strong memory, and they have a strong memory for precision. There's the difference between accuracy and precision. Last time we talked about both, and we really analyzed them, and we said the difference between accuracy and precision. So not only mathematicians are accurate, but their level of precision is very high. So, and therefore, these guys, and because of this, you find that they thrive in what you call abstract thinking and in structured and abstract thinking, simply because of their precision. So the way they think is structured. They would like to have a formula of thinking, of thoughts, maybe 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, or 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So, but if it is random, they have to rearrange it to ensure that it's a bit abstract and well structured. So those are math guys, and we say that also these guys, they also value. We say they value the accuracy. We have said that they value accuracy very much, and they also value patterns. So you find that even the way they work in life, when we talk about value here, we said value simply defines the things that you consider important in life. So these guys, the accuracy is part of their life. Patterns is part of their life. And you find that this guy may be doing one thing repeatedly, just to keep a track of how you do things. These guys are mathematicians. So if you have these traits, this is still part of analyzing yourself. If you are logical and analytical thinking, you enjoy problem solving, strong memory for precision, you thrive in structures and abstract thinking, and you value accuracy very much in patterns. So you excel well in mathematics, regardless of your performance. So it is good to see, if you have a strong of this, you have very strong of this, and you are still scoring 30% of mathematics, so you are the problem. It is not your brain. The problem is you. And probably you are looking at your teacher and you're saying, my teacher, fate, your attitude. And I would like you to see your performance in mathematics and look at your attitude at Pavisa table. You will see it is your attitude, that's whatever you scored at the attitude level, it is what is affecting your mathematics. But if you change on that attitude, just look at that attitude, is the last one, a close. You're able to see what you scored in the 3 lines. So, and therefore you find that it is your attitude probably that is affecting you if you have these traits, but you're not scoring in mathematics. So that you can change. So that's for maths guy. And because now we are going to have 2 mathematics, for those who are going to take STEM on pure sciences, they will be having pure mathematics, this mathematics. And it is now clear that for those that will be taking other courses in social sciences, in arts, there will be a special maths for them. And you remember even before that was decided earlier here, we discussed that. And I told you that mathematics is very important because of 2 things. Number one, if you want for international eligibility, you cannot go to Harvard when you don't have mathematics, because Harvard looks for 2 things. Number one, they look for a language. That's fine because you're doing English. And then number 2, they look for mathematics. So, and therefore, if you have no mathematics, you want to go to South Africa, and you want to do law, you don't have mathematics? No. So, therefore, I'm so glad that now it has been decided that we are not training learners for Kenyans absorption only, but we are doing it for global absorption. So, what about those guys who are basic mathematics? Basic mathematics. And I've said it can be defined in so many ways. It can be called basic, it can be called foundational mathematics, it can be called general mathematics, whichever name it will be. But it is just teaching you, maybe the topics like statistics, probability, for you to be able to apply, because in your different areas where a lot of analysis is not required, courses like law and etc., econometrics and so forth. So now these guys, because there's quite a number of practical things that they do, so basic, they practical and everyday logic user. So that's number one. You know, they are very practical and daily logical users. Now, the difference between people who take basic mathematics and pure mathematics. For basic mathematics, they want to understand. Now, if I do calculus, where will I apply it? For these people, already they can figure out that when I do calculus, it will help me. That knowledge is key for me. But for these guys, it's not about that. So you find that they just want something that is practical in everyday logical using. So that, for instance, in business, they want mathematics that can help them understand why is their business not growing, or how can they a multiplier in their business. So they want to understand, how can I analyze my customers? Why is the number low this time compared to last year? So it's a practical mathematics. So therefore, this is a bit general or basic compared to the other guys. So people who are asking those questions, and you find their social sciences and arts, they will fit well in basic mathematics. So they also appreciate relevance to real life tasks, appreciates relevance to real life situations, or that's what they know. And you see, it's about practicability. This mathematics, the basic mathematics, is about practicability. And therefore, that's why it will be like an alternative B that can just give us, just know how to analyze things and all that. So allow me just to read the others. They also learns best through repetition and clear steps. You know, number 4, is moderate low interest and abstract concept. It's not as this one, you know, where you're told about the 2, 3, the 3, 2, you know. So you do that calculation. So this is for pure maths, but for this guy, they wonder what is the logic behind this. They do not understand. So, and therefore they also prefer simple calculations and functionality. So that is for maths, and I think that is enough already to look at this. This is simple calculations and functionality. That's key for you to note that. So, and therefore with that, so those guys can now choose pure, or you can choose basic. And therefore, if you love maths, but you don't want a lot of calculations, so you just simple calculation and functionality, and you find these people, they fall under not STEM, but they were under SS or AS. So that's what they will take, because this has no importance for them. So let's go to next subject. Allow me to lab this because of the space. And you go to languages. Languages and literature. Languages and literature. I'm just combining them like that. And then you are going to look at areas that you excel. But remember, already this is compulsory. Now maths is compulsory. And we don't really need to analyze these, because you will still do it. So whether you like it or not, whether we analyze it or not, you still do it. It's one of the compulsory subjects that we have. So, but it's good to look at it. So these people are very expressive, language people, expressive, imaginative. Of course, you can compare your composition with some of your members in class. How do they perform? How do you perform? So you find that there are those people who have that ability to write a very good English, a very good composition, you know, with the figurative language, with those structures put in place, with all those rhymes, similes, and metaphors, and, you know, a well-connected thing. But there are others, when you write your composition, even the teacher is not interested to read it. So you find even the learners in class, they are not interested to read it. So expressive and imaginative. So those people who have the strong expression and of themselves, of anything, and they can really imagine. So imagination, we said, is you're able to take originality and think outside the box. So is languages. This one, you love reading. You have to love reading, writing, you know, all those, because storytelling and so forth. Storytelling, because that's about languages. So just for quick, maybe I can just lead the others. In English, also the good communicators, both spoken and written. They communicate very well. They are also very sensitive to tone. You know, they are very sensitive to how their intonation, the meaning, and even the emotions. They also value a lot of creativity. They value position, and they value human connection. That's about language. So, and if you have a strong in that, you can really move to languages, and they will help you. The same case is the same with almost Kiswahili, because it is on a language line, you know. So allow me to go to biology. Let me do that by biology. Now, biology are people, number one, who are very observant and detailed. Remember, this is where medicine comes from. You need to understand the anatomy. You need to understand the structures. So you must be very observant. When you're taught about cells, so all those things about cells, you need to know them. So you must be very observant. You must know how to be detailed. So these guys are very detailed and very observant. So if you have those traits, biology fits you very well. Number two, they are curious about living organisms. Curious about animals, curious about plants, anything that is living, they are curious about, because biology is the study of living things. So therefore, if you have that curiosity on living things, so you fall under biology, and it will really help you about that. That curiosity can really help you about life and living things. Number three, their interest in health, environment, and the body. You know, their interest in health, environment, and the body. You find a lot of what they want to know more about well-being of people. They want to know more about environment. They want to know more about health, environment, and our body. So these people are good biologists, because biology, you know, health, it's for life. Environment, to support life. Our body, it carries the life. So everything is around man, and everything is about life and living things. So if you have that interest, living things, so you find that you fit well in biology. Now again, these guys, you know, they value helping, healing, and understanding nature. You know, they value. You know, they value healing. You know, they value that. They want to see why helping people. This is what they value, and also the understanding nature. Understanding nature. So find these guys are the people who tell us we have to eat this at home. This is not a balanced diet. When you eat this food and that food, it will bring problems. You cannot eat this and eat this together. You cannot eat fruits. You cannot eat vegetables with the fruits. You know, all those things. So those are good botanists. And when they start having that, valuing that, it means that they can excel in biology because it is a life area. And they also enjoy, these guys, they enjoy lab work and case studies. Case studies. Give something to analyze in the lab. Wow, you have won them. You know, case study. Why is this area not occupied with this plant? They will study, and they will tell you at the end of the day why is that so. So there are some of us who like lab work, yes, and case study, because even chemistry and physics is the same case. But now you find for these people, they are really wired toward life. Physics people are wired toward things. Chemistry are wired towards composition. You get it? That. So we are going to see that. So I'm saying biologists, they are wired on lab work and case studies on life, environment, body, health, etc. Physicists, they are wired toward the nature, the forces, and all that. Then the chemistry, they are wired toward the composition of nature, of which the composition is part of biology, and they don't enjoy doing that. So the next one we're going to look at is physics. Physics. And I'm sure up to now, there are some of you already, they can tell me that I see like I can take mathematics pure and I can take biology. Then it remains the subject 3, which you're going to look at. So in this case, the same case, remember physics and mathematics almost go together. So you expect that the traits that were there in pure mathematics mostly are the same in this. So there's no way you can be poor in mathematics and maybe perform better in physics. So because the traits are the same, the critical thinking and problem solving, the technical concepts, maybe that's what comes up to you. There's a technical concept that comes up here. So for physicists, and the real world mechanic, so there's real world mechanics. When we talk about mechanics, we are talking about force. So when we study force and its effect in nature, that is what we call mechanics. So force and its effect in nature is what we call mechanics. So you find that these people, they are really toward the force. You know, what drives, what makes this to remain and not to remain? What makes the world to rotate and not to get out of its rotating line? You know, the orbit and all that, the axis and the rest. So all those real world mechanical or the force they think that they're interested in how things work. You know, this how things work. That's like an engineering, especially machines. They are really interested to know how does it work, what makes the car move. You know, how does the fuel burn to ensure that you know, this and that happens. How locomotive works. It's about how do things work. That's about physics. Then they are also hands-on and very hands-on and experiential. About experiments. They are very, very experimental. I think that's the best one to use. Experimental. You know, this is the Mike Faradays. You know, people who can try one thing another time and not fail. Remember, when you're looking at the attributes of STEM people who are doing physics, we said that they are very resilient. they are very resilient. They are very resilient, and they can do one thing again and again and again. Even if they fail, they continue doing it until they get it right. So another way that these guys have their very innovation, they value innovation and precision. Remember, this is where engineering comes from. This is where engineering comes from. So, and I know some of you now, when you look at the traits for biology, the traits for physics, and the traits for mathematics, maybe you can already start defining that you are an MP. We said either you can be an MB. You can see now it's defining an MP. So, and so forth. So, allow me to finish with this one, chemistry, very fast, and then the rest we'll cover it in another lesson. So, the chemistry, they are very investigative. Why? Remember, chemistry is about composition. We look at the composition of substances and maybe the change they undergo. So, therefore, you must be very, very investigative. So, that is one trait that chemistry people have. So, if you have good investigations, so the first subject that you can be your choice is chemistry. They enjoy, these people, they enjoy chemical reactions, chemical reaction and transformation. They enjoy chemical reactions and transformation. So, and there are some of us, maybe you find even when you are writing a matchbox, because that's a chemical reaction, it is an issue for you. But there are others who enjoy a lot. They can mix as many chemicals as possible. Once they go to the lab, they can mix this, mix that, and they just want to be curious. They're just curious to see what will happen. So chemistry people, they enjoy the chemical reaction. Transformation, of course, when this reaction takes place, what new will they bring? That's a transformation. So there's a new form that those compounds are, and the chemists want to exactly know what has changed. They're also very accurate and safety conscious, and they are really disciplined, because they are really disciplined, highly disciplined, because if you're not disciplined, you will start burning yourself in the lab as you're conducting this. So they also value science applications. They also value science application in life. They also value science application in life. Why? When you're doing chemical reactions and their transformations, you are trying to see how can all this investigation and the transformation change the life. How can I apply this in life? So when you are doing this, therefore, it is chemists, they value that science of application, not just to do things, but they want to know how to mix 1 and 2 so that they can make a soap. They want to mix sodium hydroxide with fat so that they can make a soap. They want to mix sulfuric acid or sulfuric acid with something else so that they can make a detergent and so forth. So they value science applications and all that. Also, they enjoy breeding theory with lab work. Breeding theory with lab work. A theory, an abstract that is trying to explain a phenomena. So anytime they would like to prove whether it is true, whether it is correct, or it is not. So that's about chemistry. And now I know that you can now start to join and see that for me, I would like to be an MBC, or maybe I would like to be an MPC, meaning my combination is maths, biology and chemistry, or I'm going to take maths, physics and chemistry. So, and therefore this one, when you take this, already it shows you, if I can just explain here, your subject combination is able to tell you which pathway will you take. For instance, let's look at MPC. MPC. that is maths, physics, chem. So which track is this? This is now pure science. Which course will this person go? When you take maths, physics, chem, these are the engineers. Mostly their engineering is the line for that. So if you are an MPC, MPC will be for engineers. If now you MPC, yes, MBC, for those who are MBC, what will they be? So this MBC, of course we are saying about maths, there is biology, there is chemistry. Now, which track is this? Is also pure science. And this pure science, these guys, they will end up becoming, this is medical doctors, medicine. Because medicine is the one that requires an MBC and all that. So, therefore, once you identify subjects, so to identify the track is not a big deal. So, like this guy now, he's a MPC. MPC is a STEM, is a pure science, and then you take MPC. Done. So, and I will guess maybe in our next lesson, we're now going to do the others. Now we have done the languages, we have done the sciences. In our next lesson, I'm very sure that we are going to handle the others so that we can be able to identify again your other lines of subject combination, so that those who are social science, again you can know, how do I decide that I'm in social science? So already you know how STEM to determine that from our scoring. If you have to reflect back from our lesson, we have said that you use your pathway from the scoring guide that I gave you. Then you use your subject combination, which defines your track. And therefore, it becomes very easy for you to decide which pathway, which track, and which subject combination you are going to take. So therefore, allow me to end our lesson today at that level, and we see you next as we analyze the other subject that we have highlighted today.